All right. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Late Night at Siloam. We got a really special episode planned for you guys tonight. Thanks for joining back in with us. We have a very handsome lad with us tonight, and we have a great topic to discuss with you guys, something that is it's become a staple of Camp Siloam. And so, Tyler, who do we have with us tonight?
Yeah, so we've got a pretty cool dude with us here tonight. He is our program manager. His name is Cody Stevens. So, Cody, how about you tell us a little bit about what you do here at Camp Siloam?
Yeah, thanks. First of all, thanks for having me. It's an honor to sit between you fine gentlemen here on the couch, two pretty sweet lads. But yeah, my name is Cody Stevens, and I'm the program manager here at Camp Siloam. And what that means is basically anything summer related. And so we hire about 85 college students in the summertime to work. And so I recruit a lot and do interviews and hire them. And then sometimes I do graphic design. Sometimes I do games. Sometimes I do drama stuff. Sometimes I just have fun. Sometimes we share the gospel. Sometimes we just encouraging our summer staff to share the gospel. And so that's a big part of what I do.
Awesome. Very cool. So tonight, our topic for you guys is the cropster. So tonight, like I said, it's become a staple of Camp Siloam, very iconic to who we are, and he's a little bit of a menace, but we're going to get into that. But tonight we're going to discuss a little bit of the backstory on how the cropster even came to be, and then we'll talk about the history of the story that we've made up and developed for him, and what it is. And then also we're gonna talk about the cropster hunt, which if you've been a camper or a counselor, you've been a part of. Very fun game. And then we'll each go through and we'll talk about what our favorite cropster video has been, because there's been many over the years, a lot of great ones and funny ones, but we'll each go through and discuss our favorite one. But so I'll go ahead and kick it off with the history of the cropster. So I actually learned this just a few days ago, actually. But our executive director, Jason Wilkie, his son Quentin was playing in the creek in 2010 or 2011, I believe 2011. Quentin was playing in the creek, and as you guys know, if you've played in the creek, there's a lot of crawfish. They're everywhere. But Quentin, when he was younger, he was playing with them, and the executive director at the time in 2011 was with Quentin. And Quentin couldn't differentiate between a lobster and the crawfish, and so he started calling them cropsters. And the executive director at the time thought that was hilarious, so he coined that name, cropster. And then from there, that character, he became molded in the character. And Cody, why don't you take it away and give the backstory that was created for him?
Sure, yeah. So let's see. So starting back in 1923, and as you guys know, this is our 100th year anniversary coming up this upcoming summer, 2023. And so back in 1923, when the camp was purchased, the group that purchased the property, they decided, rumor has it, that they were going to have a giant celebration, a shindig, hootenanny, some might say, and they were going to celebrate the purchase of the property for this camp. And so in order to do that, they bought the finest steak that you could buy at the time. They purchased and imported the finest lobster that you could get. And so they were going to have a big hootenanny. And so the chef at the time, he was in the dining hall, and he was preparing the food. And the executive director at the time, his daughter, snuck into the dining hall. She saw the chef put the final lobster in the pot of boiling water, and she just couldn't bear it. And so she snuck in behind the chef's back without him looking, and she grabbed that lobster and she set it free in the creek of Camp Siloam. And so, great story, right? Storybook ending. The lobster was happy, and it was set free in the creek, but it doesn't end there. So she set the lobster free in the creek, and as you guys know, there's a bunch of crawdads in the creek here at camp, and then the lobster met one of the crawdads in the creek of Camp Siloam, and they broke a rule here at camp.
What rule was that, Cody?
No PDA.
That's a very important rule here at camp.
That is very true. That is a very important rule. They broke the rule of no PDA, and they had an offspring. They bred and they had an offspring, and that offspring became what we know now as the Cropster. Soon after that, things started happening around camp. And when I say things, I mean bad things, not good things. So one day, things like the tractor wouldn't start. And they would say, "What happened to the tractor?" And what happened to the tractor? And the tractor just wouldn't start. So maybe that would happen one day. Another time, maybe a tornado would come through camp and knock down a tree on a bunkhouse. And so you got all ends of the spectrum of things happening around Camp Siloam, and not just your typical things. You got the tractor not starting, you got the tornado coming through camp. Sometimes the lights would just flicker and they just wouldn't work properly. And so that's fine and dandy. Some things, everywhere you go, things are going to happen. But these were just non-typical things, right? And so come to find out, it was the Cropster that was being a nuisance and being a menace around Camp Siloam. So the director at the time, he decided, well, we got a problem, we'll fix it. We will call up Robert Barnacles. And you guys have heard of Robert Barnacles, and he goes down in history as like the greatest lobster catcher of all time.
A true legend.
A legend, yeah. So he was going to come try to catch the Cropster and rid Camp Siloam of the Cropster. So he came in, he found the Cropster, he fought the Cropster, he wrestled with it, he fought tooth and nail, and unfortunately he did not catch the Cropster. The Cropster prevailed. And in that battle, Robert Barnacles lost a leg. He lost a single leg in the fight, and so he still goes down in history as one of the greatest lobster catchers of all time. But unfortunately, that day he just could not overcome the Cropster here at Camp Siloam. Since then, the Cropster has just bred more and more, and the family tree has grown, and it's just caused more of a havoc at Camp Siloam and a nuisance. And he's just been a menace here at Camp Siloam. And he's got the Riz, but it's not the good Riz, right? Not the good Riz.
Bad kind of Riz.
The El Riz, yeah. The bad kind of Riz. And he doesn't have that biblical Riz, the fruits of the Spirit that we want here at Camp Siloam. And so that's kind of the history of the Cropster. And so since then, about 10, 12 years ago, we decided, hey, we need to catch this thing. And what better way to do it than to have our 6,000 campers in the summertime go after this thing? Because there's no other army I would rather fight the Cropster with or look for the Cropster with, right?
Yeah.
We started this game. It's also for color points, but it's also to catch this Cropster and rid Camp Siloam of this menace that the Cropster is here at camp. So, okay, sorry about that, everybody. We had some technical difficulties. Not sure what happened, but there's only one person to blame, right, Tyler?
It's probably the Cropster, right?
That's right. The Cropster just messed with our camera and did something.
He is an absolute rapscallion, I would say. Just a menace to society.
Yeah, so another thing about Camp Siloam related to the Cropster is we have various videos just capturing the Cropster's antics. And I think we could probably all go through and talk about our favorite video. Mine would be, I think it's probably the 2013 or 2012 video. I'm not sure exactly, but it's called Cropster Hunters. It's a very like ghost hunters type video, and the three guys on it, they just have such good chemistry when it comes to hunting the Cropster. They're a very well coordinated team, I would say, just trying to hunt down the Cropster and figure out where he's at and stop his antics.
But my favorite video, just because I thought it was pretty well put together, is the one from 2022. Mainly because that's the one I'm in and the one I made. But it was a fun video to make, and like it was able to get a handful of people involved. Like our media team lead plays my sister. Actually, the characters are named after you and your brother Matt.
I was gonna say, they've got some good names. Yeah, and that's a fun video. That was well put together.
I played you. I was Cody, and then Megan was your brother Mac, but she was Mackenzie.
One of my other favorite ones was probably 2014, I think it was. I'm trying to think of the gist of it. I think it's they're driving down the road and they hit the Cropster maybe in a van. They're on their way to camp, and so they're going out looking for the Cropster, and one of the girls in the video saw it and they don't think it's real. Nobody believes her, so she's trying to prove people wrong, and that one was a pretty suspenseful one. and it was a lot of fun to watch week after week. And it set the scene up really well, and it had a lot of back and forth in it, and there were just some really good, funny characters in that video as well.
Sure.
Yeah.
You're in it too. At one part
Am
of the
I
video.
now?
Yeah, you're in that one. You're like digging in a trash can looking for him, and then you run out.
Yeah, that's right. I forgot about that. Yeah, I forgot about that. We got it. Yeah.
Roger that. We've got a positive ID. The cropster has been found.
Oh, let's go. They found him.
This, when time gets closer to summer, that man is up to no good.
Yeah. He causes lots of, I would say, disasters. We've had floods and all sorts of things the last few years. So, yeah, prayers would be appreciated.
Yes, he was causing a ruckus one day. He actually, our finance manager, Dave Flack, he hit him upside the head. Do you remember that?
Is Dave okay?
I think he's okay. I mean, well, it's Dave. You never know.
Yeah.
But I think he's okay.
Dave's an interesting guy.
Well, guys, thanks for tuning in. It's been a fun episode. Cody, we appreciate you coming out here to join us. Guys, in 2 weeks, we'll have another great guest and have another topic to discuss. And so, but guys, we're just so excited for summer to get here. We're ready. Just ready to have you guys here. But I think that's it. Is that everything? Everything. Well, with that, this episode is now adjourned. See you guys in 2 weeks. Cool.